What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Mess and the Magic podcast. Today's guest is a walking frequency of transformation, one whose magic emerges not just through words, but through waves of sound and presence. Michelle Cintron is a soundscape facilitator, sacred spaceholder, and guide for those on the path of deep inner remembrance. A devoted mother of three and a radiant force in the healing arts, Michelle helps others reconnect with their truth through community, vibration, and ceremony. After walking through the fire of a messy divorce in 2018, Michelle returned to her unapologetic self, stepping boldly into a healing journey that cracked her open and reassembled her soul piece by piece. She believes in the power of going inward, remembering who you are, and following your North Star. And I have a feeling this conversation is going to stir something deep in your soul. Michelle, welcome to the Mess and the Magic.
Thank you. What an intro. I'm like, who's joining us?
No, it's me.
Wow. It's interesting to be present to the words and how my reputation has grown in the community. It definitely has been a journey, and the turning point of the divorce and going deep into my transformation was definitely the catalyst. And I asked myself, how can I show up differently? How can I take responsibility for the things that don't work in my life and yet celebrate the things that do? And so it's a journey. Healing is definitely a journey, and I'm glad to be here with you and with all of you listening. If you come back on the replay, hola, hello, welcome to the space. This is going to be fun. I know it is.
Right? 2018, it's so funny because it feels like that was just yesterday, but also so long ago.
Yeah.
Can you take us back to 2018 and what life looked like for you back then, and just a little bit of what that messy era felt like in your body?
Okay, so you're in my head. I'm like, she's taking me back to the mess, and then we'll end with the magic. Okay, that's cool. I lost myself in a marriage, in being a wife and a mom. And we had different parenting styles, different cultures. There was more resistance in what we were wanting to keep together and create. And at some point, I shut down and I was drowning. I couldn't remember who I was and connect to the things that I loved. And so after making a hard decision of going separate ways, again, I came back to me and to my center. And I feel like I was given an opportunity to explore once again, who am I? And I went through this before. It's actually how I got to Vegas from New York City. And so there was a remembrance there of getting back to my center and connecting with me and becoming the best version of myself so that I could first and foremost be a better parent. And then from that intention, boy, was I taken on a roller coaster ride.
Well, and I know during that time you were shedding a lot of identities and beliefs to kind of reclaim your power. What identities or beliefs were holding you back from being your true authentic self?
Oh my gosh, I felt disempowered. I was a single mom already in New York City, and I knew I could do this. And yet now I have two other children from my second marriage, and then my eldest son from my first marriage. And I lost that warrior that knew that I can step in and really do anything I set my mind to. I lost that aspect of me. I came out here and thought I needed to soften a bit, and in doing so, I forgot some of my strength and my courage. And the catalyst to this transformation I owe to my eldest son, Martin, who went through an emotional intelligence and leadership program. And I remember how transformative it was for him in his own healing journey. And he
And how
sat
old
me
was he at that
down.
time? Because he's pretty young.
18. He was 18.
He was 18 and enrolled himself, or how did he get into that?
He was enrolled by a friend of his who knew he was going through a hard time. There were some health issues there, plus the divorce, plus emotional issues. It's a 90-day buckle up buttercup because
That's a
it's
long container.
it is, and it's very purposeful in how the program is built in 3 different tiers. You end in leadership and embodying all the qualities that you discover are really inherent to you and are always there. We just don't tap in. And he sat me down and he looked me in my eyes and he declared, "You get to go. And I'm not taking no for an answer." And even as I say it today, I get goosebumps all over my body because we call taking a stand for your loved ones and seeing the potential of what's on the other side.
It's kind of like an energetic intervention.
Yeah. And this has been a ripple in my entire family. We've all gone through the program and it is life altering, life changing, and really was the catalyst for me going deeper and deeper into my transformation and then developing tools and then wanting to train in these tools so that I can give back and be the light in a crowd for those who are seeking their own transformation.
What part of yourself stopped shining? What were you neglecting of yourself while you were in the second marriage, all that stuff? What piece of you wasn't being let out?
My creativity, dance, big part of my life. I went pretty much almost a decade not dancing, which is hard to believe in retrospect. I even say the words and they come out of my mouth.
I feel like you dance in like just normal life. Like you just end up doing some dance moves, like a little
I
flourish.
do. I do. And there's something really magical when you can do that in the collective and share it in an open forum
Mm.
with other dancers. That I wasn't doing. And I write poetry. That also fell by the wayside. And so there were creative outlets that I was craving. And I was giving all my energy to my children, to the marriage, to being this version of myself that was pouring out from an endless cup and forgetting to fill her own cup.
Poetry and dance are two very feminine energy practices. So what it sounds like is, you were moving from having to be in that control and masculine, being a single mom, having everything under control, taking care of the bills, and really reinvigorating that amazing feminine spirit that you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were there any
Absolutely.
moments where you almost gave up on yourself?
I don't know that I gave up on myself. I was stuck in what an exit strategy might look like. There was fear.
How long did it take you to like decide that you wanted to leave versus actually like figuring out what the exit path was?
It took about 3 years. Yeah.
I want everyone to hear that. Took
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
There
so
were
if you're
so
still in
many.
it, know that it's
It's,
okay that you're figuring it out and it doesn't all have to happen today, right?
and is it ever the right moment? But
Right.
I was looking for the perfect moment. When this lines up and the kids are this age, it was some logical strategy I was wanting to implement that made no sense regardless of what the strategy was. It's never a
So
right
what ended
time.
up being the breaking point?
When my son got sick and really was faced with some health issues and I didn't feel support from my partner, and there were comments about me loving him more than my other children or neglecting my responsibilities. And as a mom, I was like, okay, you just ripped my soul out. And he's equally a part of this
Right.
family and very much my child. And there is no way in hell that I will not walk this path with him. I don't care how long it takes.
Do you have any contact with him anymore?
I don't. It's just easier that way.
Hmm.
My youngest child is 16. We co parent. It's
Has
easy
that
now.
been an easy transition to move from relationship to divorce to co-parenting? How did that look for you?
No, very bumpy ride. Very bumpy, especially when you have different parenting styles. The kids are resilient. I grew up in a similar situation where I was with mom weekdays, went to school weekends, supposed to be with dad. He had the visitation on the weekends, but it turned out he dropped me off to my grandma and auntie's house, my titi's home. So I really never spent time with him. He was the Uber. He dropped me off and then picked me up after once we had Sunday
He was
dinner
just your
until he
ride.
got home. Yeah. Yeah. And so I remember what that was like. So having that reference, I was like, I can only show up this way as a parent, and this is how we're going to create whatever values, whatever system we're implementing. This is what we do in our home. And his was very different from mine. And so kids adapt. They know when I'm
Mhm.
here, this is what's expected, how I'll behave, and this is who I can be. And when I'm over there, there's it's a different ambiance.
Well, and it's so interesting because you have done so much transformation and so much inner work, and so has Martin, right? And he's the one that brought you into this. Has that trickled down to your other kids as well? Are they interested in the more of the emotional intelligence path?
Absolutely. My daughter turned 18 and she's really stepping into her awakening since graduating high school. And so she completed her own team leadership, emotional intelligence training just a couple of months ago. And so she's in it and she's discovering and she's leaning in. So we have great conversation. Of course, Martin and I have modeled this for our family since
Hmm.
2018. So there's nothing new to them in this regard. However, it's like reading a book, right? I can tell you all about it. And until you lean in and have your own experience, you really don't know. Logically, you understand concepts, but it's experiential work. And so you've got to lean in, which is where my daughter is at now. My youngest guy it's interesting because he's very scientific, has the engineer mind. And as long as I relate it to science and physics,
Which you're great at.
what and integrate this for him at his style of learning, it makes sense. So I had a hilarious moment a couple of months ago. My business partner Stephanie was in the home and he's gaming, and all of a sudden we hear him go, "Bro, yo, just let it all go. Take a deep breath in, hold the breath, exhale." He was like, "It's just a game. We got this. We're going to hit another round. We're going to kill it. But can you relax? Can you let the edge
Let
go?"
it go.
And
Oh, I love that. I feel like,
we're
especially
sitting
in the
there. She's
gaming
like,
world, we need that energy.
Did you just hear that?" And I'm like, that's the first time I've really tuned in. Took you to like highlight what he's doing. And so in a very simple way, he's transmuting this energy to people who are gaming.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty
What a
cool.
powerful place to spread the magic.
Yeah, where all these teens live.
We talk about like generationally being connected or disconnected socially, but it's interesting with the younger generation how they really do stay connected in a huge way through their devices. It feels like for us on one side of it that they don't have as much interaction in person, but they really are so dialed in and connected just in a different way than we were.
100%. I have family in Florida. They have their cousins that live in Florida, and they're connected every day,
Hmm.
which is cool. And then when they get together and we do the family reunions and they see each other in person, there's been nurturing in that relationship, even though it's through gaming. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
interesting
really
because I
awesome.
miss going back, when you would sit with your friends on the couch and actually play the video game together in the same room. I missed that time.
Yeah,
Mario
totally
Kart with
different.
everybody.
Yeah, it's so different. We do play board games. Martin's really great at introducing new games to us as a family, and he always takes the lead on that. So, yeah, we have family game nights, and we extend it out to friends that come over. It's another way to keep the family engaged and introduce a little slight competition, right? Because
I love friendly competition.
I could hear my mom, life's not fair. Like you earned this win. I'm not gonna let you just no. That's not life. It wouldn't be fair to you to ingrain that in you. Yeah.
Did you hear? I read an article the other day that they are going to be implementing Uno tables in casinos as one of the gaming games. Did you hear about that?
And I just had a vision of my entire family descending on an Uno table.
With all of the nostalgia that that game brings, I don't
Yeah.
know if that would open a whole can of worms with bringing those type of games to be bet on.
We play, they're like pretty big cards and it gets really, really high stress and competitive in our family reunions when we bring those out. And then it turns out to like a dance. We always end in a dance party, which is fun. So
Ooh, I love ending in a dance party. That just reminds me of midnight margaritas on Practical Magic.
yeah, yeah. So a little bit of mess, a little bit of magic, right? Now you know my
Always, right?
mess.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you said that motherhood and being a better mother was one of the reasons that you stepped out of the relationship that wasn't a fit for you. How did that really translate into bringing you to more of the magical pieces of that journey?
So I immediately turned to dance. Dance is an art of mine that I love, and I've danced a long time. And I had always wanted to do ballroom dancing. And I said, this is the year. I'm going to pour back into myself. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to do something new. And so I did that for a full year. And I was dancing 6, sometimes 7 days a week and competed. Yeah, it was amazing. I got
Did
right
that help
back
you build back your confidence?
everything, my confidence. I lost like, I eliminated 25 pounds that I had gained. And
Just from dancing?
yeah, yeah, joy. Joy was oozing out of my body. And people, it was noticeable. I was the person I was before I got in that slump of probably depression. Yeah,
You had your glow back.
yeah.
So you went through an emotional intelligence course, found back your energy and glow with dance. How did you get into all of these amazing healing modalities and ceremonies and sound and vibration?
So I grew up as a spiritualist. Ceremony's not new to us. I've been doing this since I was small. A lot of drum circles, a lot of channeling, mediumship type environments I grew up in. And through dance and the frequency of joy, I became honestly an example of what was possible for a lot of women who were either stuck where I was in the relationship that wasn't working. And it honestly, I was attracting, it was coming to me. And so, this emotional intelligence program that I was part of, I went back and coached 3 different trainings. So, back to back trainings. I was immersed in this work for about 2 years, like immersed. It was like a full time job, like an 80-hour time work week in transformation. And so through that, I started learning. I went and learned about NLP and I was like, oh, this makes sense. I want to go down the route of certification. And so did master training and went the route of neurolinguistic programming, mental and emotional release work, and hypnotherapy. Simultaneously, the sound frequency, it was like I got this message that you're going to utilize frequency in a different way. It's great that you're dancing and you inspire, but now let's bring healing to
Mhm.
that. Fell on my lap from the training that I took that was so greatly reduced in cost I couldn't say no. And this was going right before COVID. And then my first set of bowls were practically gifted to me, and nothing I had to look for, advertise. It kept landing in my realm. And I remember being in my healing room and flipping the switch on Facebook Live and going, I'm a sound healer. And from that moment, I mean, we were in COVID at that time. My Facebook page was flooded. And so I started to give back in that realm during that time. And it kept leading me down a path of coaching, of guiding, of bringing the ceremonialist part of me out really in the forefront. I took training. Oh, what's this coach's name? He's great. He's tagged the word not so serious or unserious.
I like unserious.
Yeah, yeah,
I like
Goldberg.
putting the fun back in functional
Yes.
adulting.
Well, so that's this gentleman. Gosh, I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. I really adore him. His last name is Goldberg. He's part of the
Good.
Mind Valley family. Yes. He went from IT to becoming heck of a coach and transforming lives. It'll come to me. So he was pivotal in my journey, and then I just began enrolling in more and more coaching type certifications and classes.
Well, I think that the huge distinction here is that you were pouring back into yourself so that your cup could be full. And then at that point, you could pour into others.
Yeah, we
That's
can't pour from
so
an empty
big.
cup.
Mm-mm, cannot. So I know that you blend a lot of those modalities in what you do today. What's your favorite thing about what you're working on now?
It's always the sound therapy. It is my superpower. I can open so many spaces and portals in how I deliver my sound journey. It's a journey. It's not a bath.
And you channel the voice, you channel the words sometimes. I have been so honored and grateful to be in ceremony with you, in sound healing with you, in just so many amazing, glowing spaces where you have been able to share that gift. And it is truly powerful. It is, I can hear when you just start channeling and have all of these amazing notes and tones and frequencies that come out of your body. And it's
Yeah,
so amazing to be in that room.
thank you. Like, and I tell people I don't sing.
Right. You don't.
Don't ask me to hit a note. I have no idea what's happening in those moments. It is 100% channeled and very specific for that moment in time for the group who's sitting there. And it is a blessing. And I'm happy to be that vessel to allow that to come through. And it's super healing for me as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know that you've facilitated so many different types of ceremonies and healings. Is there anything that you've witnessed during a facilitation that left you transformed?
Gosh, so I do hospice work too.
hmm
And when I'm sitting with those who are actively transitioning, I have so many experiences. I mean, this is going to be a book. I've started to record them all because they are what I call of the angelic realm.
mm
And it ranges from the ability of the spirit of that person coming forward to me and saying, my time is now, or I'm not in the room. However, we have a bond because they have received my Reiki services and my sound facilitation, that they come to me no matter where I'm at. And it's the
That
spirit coming through.
sounds like a huge gift and also could be a little surprising or triggering if you didn't know that you had that gift. How in your body have you kind of figured out like where the energy is coming from, who it is, where they need to
So
go?
it's the clairaudience and the clairvoyance. It shows up differently every time based on that spirit and how it chooses to reveal itself to me. I've had some really magical moments, and it's hard to explain to the logical brain. And I trust and I know this is a thing. I know because I've had my own
The
near death
experience.
near death experiences. I've had two.
hmm
And so I've crossed the veil. And
How do you feel like those have affected your journey with that? Do you feel like they really amplified your power because you were closer to that other side?
it it allowed me to be accepting of everyone's journey because it's different for everybody. Yeah. It's given me great awareness beyond this realm of what's available to us at all time. And it's been very humbling. My level of gratitude is I embody it. It's not a practice. It's nothing I have to be mindful around.
It's just an energy that you carry.
For everything, for the little things. And
That's the most important.
I hope to share that with my children, that I give so much gratitude for so many things. And I ask them to notice, really feel the gratitude. Don't just say the words. Don't repeat after me. I want you to feel in your heart what gratitude feels like.
I have a sign in my guest bathroom downstairs. And it's things to be grateful for if you can't think of anything. And it's just the sun, waking up, having a breath, having food available to you. all of these things that we take for granted, which are the little tiny things. And it's funny when we get like a little paper cut or we hurt ourselves in a little way, how sometimes that can really impact our feeling, because it actually feels a lot bigger because we take our bodies for granted even. So just coming back to the presence of how magical it is to be on this planet, in this experience, in this body, has been a huge journey for me ever since I turned 30. And that's when I started my personal growth and healing journey and healing modalities and getting certifications and just kind of working on what that felt like. Because a lot of times we're not even present to what our bodies are telling us because we're so busy just pushing them to the brink of the empty tank, and exhausting our batteries instead of doing anything that's preventative.
Well said. Absolutely. The breath. I open my eyes and I'm like, yay, I'm here today. Woohoo! This is so cool. I get another day. It's not always
I mean, our
easy.
our sleep is so fascinating too. The fact that we get to dream and go travel places and then rejuvenate our batteries. Sometimes I'll wake up and just be grateful for the sleep.
Yeah. Yes. There's so much in the dreamscape that's tied to our unconscious mind, our spirit. And when we clear out the junk and we can tap into that realm and know how precious it is, yes, grateful for sleep. Interesting journeys, even in my dreamscape
I'm
space.
sure because you're so open. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, get a lot of messages and deceased. I've had this gift of being around the deceased for a long time, since as early as 5, I can remember. And I'm like, there's no here or there. It's all here now. If that's one thing I can impart to people who are watching, it's all here all the time right now.
And you are able to sense that in different ways. And you've
Mm,
been, privy to that, right? Since you were saying at the age of 5. And experience is really the only key to knowing that all those other realms are here, right? So if
uh,
someone was to work on their sensitivity maybe to the fact of just all the other energies around us, what would you say would be like a practice that they could really start being a little bit more open to that?
meditation, quiet, quiet down, sit, breathe, calm your nervous system, even if for 5 minutes. So many people are uncomfortable in their own bodies in remaining still. So, this is our ego at work, basically showing up and saying, we're not going there. We don't know what the unconscious mind is going to release. So, hi, I'm your ego. I'm going to protect you. You don't
Keep
really
you
need to
safe,
sit
keep you
there.
alive. You
Yeah,
might
you don't
die.
need to do that, right? Why don't we just get busy? But we can scroll all day long.
I'm hungry. Oh, I have to do this.
Exactly. So this is where we call EQ mastery, emotional intelligence mastery. Are you the master of your mind, or is it the master of you? And for most, it's the master of you. And when you can flip the script and say, okay, I hear you, and this is the route we're still going to go. And so, do you want to accompany me as we get curious? Because we've got to do the dance with our ego. It's so powerful.
Well, and I know that you mentioned before that you think that during the marriage that you were facing some depression. Did meditation help that? I know a lot of people I've talked to before say that if they're experiencing depression or anxiety, it's harder for them to sit with their thoughts, but that may be, what you resist persists, right? So have you found that to be true with your depression? And do you still feel any depression now?
I don't feel depression now, and I definitely was not meditating during that time. I couldn't sit with myself. I was in resistance to the environment I created. And so there was a lot of judgment, self blame, all the things. So why would I want to sit with myself when I'm feeling really shitty about myself? Because then I'm only going to face myself. So no, I was a busy parent. I didn't have time.
Hmm.
Let me
Well,
help
and
my
that is the
child.
phrase that everybody says. And the reason that everybody doesn't do it is because I don't have time. I'm too busy. I'm wearing all these hats. I'm part of these identities. And if I'm
Yeah.
not these identities, who am I?
Hmm. Yeah. That's where you get to look within. So uncomfortable until some people need what I call the come to Jesus moment, that aha, that Mack truck that knocks you off. And so I said I had a remembrance of this because I went through this when I lived in New York and I had an accident and I fractured my sacrum and I was laid up in bed for a month. And just before all that happened, I was already in a space of contemplating my career, knowing I wanted to exit, didn't know how. Was in the entertainment industry, the music industry for a long time, very ego driven, and it was no longer in alignment with my soul. So I'm having this knowing, yet I'm not taking action.
Mm.
So how ironic that I break a backbone, which is your root chakra, your foundation. My foundation was being shaken to the core. And through that experience, after healing the bone, didn't heal the emotional trauma because that took years. Heal the bone, go right back to work 3 months later. And everything from that moment to the following year, when I finally decided to leave the industry, was such a rocky ride. And I was clinging. The ego had me clinging to this thing that had become my identity.
Was it that you didn't think that you knew how to do anything else? Like, what was your ego clinging to at that point?
The fame, the
Mm.
fun, the glory. New York's, are you kidding? I lived my best life. I had so much fun. I worked hard, lots of fun. The fun scale was like super high. There's an addiction
Why
there.
Las Vegas comparatively? Because like New York and Vegas are very different energies.
Yes. Looking for dry heat. And so I had narrowed it down to Vegas and Phoenix. Didn't know anybody in Phoenix. And my mom's best friend at that point had lived here. She had relocated from New York. She was already here 30 years in. And she was like, this is easy. You just got to come out here. Like, piece of cake. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of things about Vegas that were a lot easier back then.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, oh my God, like this was a time warp. Did I step back in time? Makes
Mhm.
no sense to me. It was definitely like a culture shock. Yeah.
Which is interesting because there's so much in New York where people go and it's such a culture shock for them. So, what was the culture shock for you comparatively to the lifestyle you were leading in New York?
So I laugh because they talked about how diverse they were here. And I was like, can you really show me? Coming from New York City, the melting pot of the world. I was like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
I think we've
girl.
become more diverse in the past couple of decades for sure.
Yeah. When I got here, I was like, I'm not seeing what everybody's seeing. Can you kind of shine a light to your filter?
Right. Where are you finding this? But, I think that I hear a lot of people who move to Vegas. It's a very transient town. Sometimes people come here looking for something and then they leave. But it's interesting how I hear people say that they can't find their people. I think there's such a heart driven healing community in Vegas now. And I know that that's new ish. I think in the last decade has become very much more intention in that space. There is so much here, and there's so much diversity in landscape, in energy, and types of events,
Mm.
in types of people. It is such a different type of melting pot, right? The only thing that I really regret on the melting pot is the drivers. But, other than
Yeah.
that,
It's not better in New York. It's just the speed limit's slower because it's so congested in the city. So you really can't kill anybody.
no, you're stuck in gridlock the whole time, so you're not going fast enough. Well, I know that you said that one of your biggest things is really sticking to like your North Star. What's your current North Star, and how do you stay connected to it when the world gets really loud?
So it's the practices that I cultivated, the meditation, again, facilitating my own sound journeys. I'm resetting my nervous system. I'm really doing what I love. And so the playing ground looks different. I feel like I'm frolicking through life. I'm literally dancing through my life. curating the life that I want and don't feel like I'm being pummeled on by, this thing that we give our power away to, whether it's education, society, work, my employer, my boss. That's all. I really truly am the author of my own life, and I dance to the beat of my own drum.
You sure do, girl. And I love watching you dance to that drum. Speaking of drums,
Yeah.
with all of the sound healing, right? Like, I know that you love your sound healing bowls, so we're going to leave that out of the equation right now. But if you could pick one of your other favorite instruments of
Hmm.
sound, what would it be?
My frame drum.
Frame drum. What's a frame drum?
So it's hollow. I don't have it in my room. It's hollow and opened on one side. They use it in Middle Eastern
Mm,
countries. It has a very hollow beat, and you play it differently with both of your hands resting on the drum. And what I love more about it is I can sing into the backside of the drum because it's hollow, and it creates a beautiful resonance. That's a lot of times what people are hearing when I sing because I'm using my
where
frame
did
drum.
you find that instrument?
I watched a woman, what's her name, Larissa, and another indigenous woman, and they use these frame drums as part of their practice. So they gave free webinars, and from the moment I saw it, I was like, this is my instrument.
I love that.
Yeah.
What's the name? I think what shakapra for like the leaves
Yes, I have
during
one here.
ceremony.
Yeah,
The
I'm
last
looking at
time,
one. I'm looking at one. I'm going to grab it. Give me
okay,
one
you
sec.
grab it.
Yep.
Yeah, the last time that I was in ceremony for ayahuasca was with you, and you had curated a beautiful group that enjoyed the ceremony together. And at one point, I was called to grab the shakapra that was sitting over in your spot, and my
Mm,
body just wanted it. And as soon as I grabbed it and I was able to just shake it, it felt like I was releasing. And then it felt
mm,
like I was helping other people release things and
mm,
shaking up energy. And it just felt so freeing and fun. So I think
mm.
that that would definitely be my favorite of those, at least for right now. And then if I were to pick a favorite drum, it would definitely be one of those rain or the ocean drums that sounds like the ocean waves. I could literally put that over my face all day long and be in heaven.
Yeah.
Yep,
It's
there
the
she
one.
is.
Yeah.
There she is. So many amazing instruments, though, to really bring in all of the elements. The shakapra is very like wind and air. Obviously, the ocean is water. There's all these different instruments to ground into the different senses and the different elements of earth. So it's so
Yeah.
fun to play with all those.
I have a flute that I'm teaching myself how to play. So that's wind. And I'll be excited when I can unveil that as part of my journey, my
I love
soundscape.
that.
Hmm. Yeah.
I know that you and your business partner, Stephanie, you guys do a lot when it comes to community and
Mm.
bringing people together to really share in the healing. How has community played a role in your healing and also in your facilitation journey? And how do you protect your energy in that group space when you're facilitating?
So how they've shown us is it's interesting because the women that are showing up, we're really honing in on like who are our people, who are like our direct avatar. I find it's women in the age range of about 40 to 60s. And they teach us all the time because coming in to our circle and because the space we hold is really protected in a sense of confidentiality, in the sense of honoring you on your journey, and I hear you and I see you. There's been such great trust that's been built that the ability to open up and let that vulnerability come through, we're really learning and hearing and receiving what women are seeking and
Wow.
how they want to be held. At the end of the day, it's not about this. It's not about the ocean drum. It's the crystal bowls. It is, I am a glorified space holder. And I give you permission to come in and to be you and to feel okay in your skin and to guide you into that space where you can forgive yourself for your mistakes, where you can accept yourself exactly where you are in this moment, where you can release the judgments that have been placed on you. And then, most importantly, in order to give love, to be love, you've got to turn that inward. You've got to overflow in your own cup of self love.
Mm.
When we get there, we're onto something. Life takes on a totally different meaning. Our ability to meet people where they're at changes. Our ability to give grace to others, to lose those judgments. We are, Brene Brown, we are judgment machines. She quotes that all the
Every
time.
conversation we have, there's not just the conversation that's happening. There's this person's conversation about how they're doing in this conversation, this person's conversation about how the other person is doing in the conversation, their conversation about how the conversation's going, and then everything on the other side. So there's 7 conversations going on at once, and they're all revolving around judgment of some sort.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many people in the room. And it really
Always.
is unnecessary. This is the work of the ego, and we complicate the hell out of everything. So let's bring it back down a notch. Let's relax into this and get back to center.
I think that's the hardest part for most people that I've witnessed and a lot of my clients is that everything, especially in America, is so loud and it's so distracting. And there's so many dopamine releasing exercises that everybody does with their cell phones. And we're all trapped in this cycle of feeling like we're beholden to everybody at a certain time. It's been so powerful to see certain people be able to really start to get quieter with themselves and choose what they're letting into their energy, into their space, all that.
So you just said let choose what people are letting into their energy and space. So I'm no different as someone who facilitates and around a lot of people with different energies. I don't have
Mm.
to own that. I don't have to be the empath that feels everything that doesn't even feel right in my body. So again, this becomes more about mastery in the services that you're offering.
And
For those
mastery
who,
of the self and
yes,
sovereignty.
yes, yeah. And for those who really struggle with that, I invite them to study Reiki and how to use energy. And I don't, at the end of the day, there's nothing I take home that does not belong to me. I've got my council, my tribe who blesses me and fortifies me. I am a believer in God and I am the vessel of that energy and light. And so I'm protected at all times. And that's simple.
And whatever you believe is true, right? If you believe you're right, or if you
Yeah,
believe you're wrong, you're
you're
right.
right.
You're absolutely right about being whichever. So if you just divinely think that you are protected and you are safe and you are,
Yeah,
in this cocoon of golden healing light that nothing can penetrate in your sovereign being, then that's what's going to happen.
that is my truth. And I will stick with it.
If you could go back and whisper something to yourself while you were going through the process of the divorce, what would that be?
What I tell myself that everything is going to be okay. Everything will be all right.
I think that is gonna be. I think that a
Don't
lot of times
worry
we catastrophize, right? We
about the
think it's going to be
thing.
so much
Yeah.
worse than it actually ends up being, whether it comes with, you know, courageous conversations in any type of relationship that we have. I think that it's at that ego, right? It's trying to keep us safe, trying to keep us comfortable where we are. Everything is possible, literally everything. If you don't think that you can do some keyword, fill in the word Mad Libs, you're absolutely wrong because there's somebody out there who has done it. So it is possible. There may be a lot of education, practice, all of that stuff in between, but that doesn't mean that you cannot do it. It just means that you're not willing to take the steps of preparation for whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Absolutely. We cling to what we know. We cling to what is familiar. Most people are resistant to change. It's interesting. I work with a mentor, coach. He's my trainer. His name is Dale Halloway. He's an author. His first book on transformation is called Being Called to Change. It's all about the ego. And for me, this book is always about go back to basics, right? We get too create a relationship with our ego and transcend it. It's possible. It takes work. Are we willing to show up? For some, ignorance is bliss, and it's just easier to stay there.
You don't know what you don't know, because when you know, then you can't go back. Can't unsee it.
Exactly. And where I see this most, honestly, is in my hospice care,
Mm.
where now you're faced with your own mortality, and it's all the what ifs, and if I could have, what would have happened? Should I? Would I? It's wow, a level of regret that's
There's a really
undeniable.
powerful book, Seven Top Regrets of the Dying, I think, or something like that. And it's such a good reminder to really, just like we said before, of like all of the small things, and don't let any of that go, and just be grateful and live as happily as you can in every moment. Spread love. Don't hesitate. Just go do it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Be true to self.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For someone who's listening who might be in the thick of their own actual mess season, what's one invitation or practice other than meditation, like we talked about, that you would offer them?
Find ways to bring joy into your life. So whatever that is for you, if it, many people connect with music. So do that. Connect with music. If think of the things you like to do when you were a child. Did you draw? Did you read? Did you dance? Like, what were the things that really brought you great joy? And get back to that place and let that inner child bring you joy. Because
Before we
there's
felt
something,
like we couldn't do those things anymore.
yeah, give yourself permission to be joyful.
I love that.
Hmm.
You actually just came from a sound healing that you and Stephanie are facilitating, right? At Virgin?
I was at the Virgin Hotel, and so we bring wellness classes there 7 days a week. And we kick off our Mondays with Monday morning meditation that for the most part, facilitate. Stephanie does a lot of the yoga, more of the physical stretch and movement classes. And we have a Pilates class there also. And then on Wednesdays, I am able to do a sound bath. And this is
Mm,
free for the hotel guests and anyone who wants to pop in. It's only $20, which is pretty inexpensive to have an experience. Even just going to a yoga studio, you might drop in for a $35 rate. And the spa is really
especially at
great.
a off the strip, right on the strip, right there,
Yeah.
hotel.
Yes. Yeah. The
Where
spas.
where in the Virgin do you guys host these?
So it's at the spa in their space. They have a yoga room. We're calling it a yoga room. It's an open space. And the acoustics in there are amazing.
Mm.
And I love being in that space. The world comes to me. Today in our class, I had a woman from Baltimore, two from Northern California, and another woman from Peru.
Wow.
I've made, and I'm calling them friendships, because by the end of the class, we're exchanging phone numbers. I have visits to all parts of the world, as far as New Zealand, Australia, Bali, Romania.
Wow. What an amazing opportunity to make connections worldwide.
And and we're like on WhatsApp, and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm so blessed to be there. Really am.
So cool.
Really
Is
am.
there anything else that you guys are working on that any of all these amazing listeners might be able to partake in if they felt really connected to what you're talking about?
Yeah. So, well, you can follow us at Las Vegas Yoga Therapy. So we have a corporate wellness brand that we've done a launch on called Relaxation Station. And so now we've invested in a vibro acoustic bed made by In Harmony. And so we're bringing that modality along with some of our mindfulness practices into corporate arenas, to conventions, to conferences. And that is taking off, and liftoff has been fun. And so we're excited to be in the corporate arena with our practices.
I mean, that might be something that you could also show your youngest son, right? You're like, hey, look, they're incorporating us into these corporate practices and making sure that they're having healing and wellness practices.
Yeah, we just stayed for the TSA here in Vegas.
Wow. with these groups, right? I think that the thought process is that they're closed off or that they have closed mindsets to these things that may be considered woo. What has been your experience of these corporate groups and or the TSA group? Were they pretty open to it? Did they shift halfway through? How was that for you?
So it's all in the languaging. And if you are versed enough to talk about the science behind what backs these practices, the Joe Dispenzas of the world, it's completely doable. We create our reality. So if you're going to say it's hard and no one wants to listen to you, you're right.
Hmm.
My experience is this is very easy. People really want this work. And I'm so abundant, there's not enough of us to go around. So we're actually vetting individuals who will want to partner with us.
I feel like if I ever worked for a corporation, that would be something that I would be so excited about them bringing into the workplace. I remember I got to be a part of the little demo you guys did for Relaxation Station, and I was like, wow, this could really impact such an interesting add-on, that I think that just like you were saying, a lot of people aren't even in tune with their bodies. So I think bringing that practice in will help people really start being in tune more with what their bodies are trying to tell them.
And it's so funny to be in the corporate arena because everybody has their story of how busy they are and this won't really help. And you just don't really understand because my level of pressure is like this, right? Everybody has the same story. And we didn't even have our relaxation station lounge with the bed set up. This was pure crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls, little box breath. And people were like, whoa, what happened? Like forgetting I'm here. Oh my gosh, I haven't felt this much peace. I feel inspired. I want to go take a day off.
Mhm.
The ego. The ego will run its mouth, its story. It controls you. So there's got to be a way for us as practitioners to engage people to feel safe enough to come through the door. And that is frequency. Who
Or
are
just
you
like you said,
being?
living the energy that you have, living that gratitude, living that joy, and really, you are such a magnet for all of these amazing experiences, people that are coming to you. So that's, I think, the most powerful thing you can do, right?
Yeah, it's who are, it comes down to the question, who are you being?
Hmm.
Energy
Human
doesn't lie.
beings, not human doings.
Yeah, yeah. And energy doesn't lie.
Hmm. Well, if there
So
was something that you could leave the amazing listeners with today, what is something important to you that you don't want to miss?
be authentic to yourself. Get to that place where what you desire is so important to you, it becomes non negotiable. And then chase that North Star. Some might walk, some might roller skate to it, some might dance, some might take the jet plane. I don't care how you get there, but let that light a fire under your bouquet so that you live a purposeful life, so that you
Mm.
feel like you're A, making your contribution, B, living your legacy. And the byproducts of being in that space is joy, is a level of satisfaction. And you don't know who you meet along the way. So it brings connection. It brings unlimited abundance, success, and love for self.
All the things that everybody says that they're looking for, right? It's
It's
all
not
inside
out.
of us.
It's not out there. It's not. Let's come to center. Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely.
Thank you so much for showing up in such a vulnerable way and sharing your story and all of your beautiful learnings and your healing journey with us. I've had so many amazing conversations with you and was so excited for you to be able to share. So thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Namaste, dear folks. And thank
Namaste,
you.
guys. Tune in next week for another amazing episode of The Mess and the Magic. Till then, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.